The Diamond Sword, often nicknamed Sworders or more derisively Sandrakers, are a unique group of Wilderzone tribals that strictly adhere to their own specific variation of Zen Buddhism, while at the same time counterbalancing their spiritualism with a zealous dedication to martial prowess, making them feared and elite warriors that could easily challenge their rivals within the Phoenix, Starwolf, or Blood Eagle. The origins of the Diamond Sword, unlike the Starwolf and most of the other independent tribes, may not have any relation to the Splintering, the event where the Blood Eagle invasion of the Wilderzone to crush the Children of the Phoenix resulted in the creation of the independent tribes. Instead, the first recorded sightings of the Diamond Sword began in 3530, 80 years after the Splintering, led by a mysterious person known only as the Enlightened Master. The Sworders managed to carve out an impressively large holding for themselves in the Wilderzone between 3530 to 3670. Not only that, but the swords were also visible fixtures during the Firetruces, starting with the second Firetruce in 3691. The Firetruces were events similar to the Olympic Games on Old Earth, hosted by the Children of the Phoenix every 50 years with the intention of promoting peace and unity. It was a special occasion where all the tribes would participate under a flag of truce, in challenges designed to test the physical and mental limits of their warriors. Some of these games often were, but not limited to, grav racing, dueling, and the tribal's own version of Capture the Flag. Yes, that's the lore reason for where Tribes' most popular game type came from. During the time of the Second Firetruce, the Diamond Sword had just appeared in the Wilderzone, and had entered the games as complete unknowns. But once their warriors began competing against the other tribes, they proceeded to all but completely dominate in the games they took part in, especially in competitions designed to test martial arts or tactical coordination, with the Diamond Sword eventually able to reach the finals of the Grand Duel, the most prestigious and high-profile event of every Firetruce. Through their performance in the games, the Diamond Sword crushed any doubts as to their abilities, and had begun to solidify their reputation among the greater tribes of man. But where did these warriors come from that they were able to challenge the best the Wilderzone had to offer? The exact tale of how their tribe was formed is shrouded in mystery, much like everything else related to the Diamond Sword. The one story that has remained popular throughout tribal space is one that actually links them to the great human empire, similar to their polar opposites, the Blood Eagle. According to the story, long ago the Diamond Sword were once a group of elite Imperial knights so skilled in combat that they were regularly used as bodyguards. Their abilities were so widely recognized within the Empire that they were called the Diamond Sword, for their astounding toughness and martial skill. One day, a mysterious figure known only as the Enlightened Master was given an audience with the Imperial Court, where he then warned those present that the Empire would have great need for a weapon of unsurpassed hardness and strength in a faraway place. The Master's words moved everyone present, including the Diamond Sword, who petitioned the Emperor to become that weapon the mysterious one spoke of. The Emperor agreed, and the Diamond Sword followed the Enlightened Master under his leadership and tutelage to the Wilderzone, where they became a tribe. However, when a sworder is confronted with this tale, and subsequently accused of being servants of the Empire, the sworder will merely reply in their typical fashion with another question. Can the hand of smoke draw a sword? To say this origin story sounds incredibly dubious would be an understatement. But it is worth mentioning that during the Starsiege era, Emperor Solomon Petrosson had an order of bodyguards who were elite, unparalleled warriors protecting him at all times. Although they were not tied with the Imperial Knights, and did not have a name beyond that of simply the Imperial Escort. However, these men and women carried a secret unknown to the public. They were all immortals like Petrosson and his son Herbeck Weathers. As time marched on through the Starsiege, the Chase, and the Cyberstorm Wars, could this group have evolved into the Diamond Sword in this origin tale? Could there even be immortals within the current Diamond Sword tribe? Or what if the story was just a complete fabrication told by drunken warriors over a bonfire passed down and altered over the generations with each retelling, and that any speculation based on it is meaningless? Unfortunately, these are answers we may never know. Although, when Empress Catherine of the Great Human Empire is disparaged and insulted by the other tribals, the Diamond Sword, much like the Blood Eagle, refused to participate. And on some occasions, despite their calm, zen-like demeanor, the Sworders have even gone so far as to engage in duels with the offending party. Quite curious behavior for an independent tribe in the Wilder Zone with seemingly no Imperial ties. When the time comes to pause their meditations and take up arms against their enemies, the Sworders rely on cunning and innovative strategies layered within each other to safeguard their future success. In other words, a plan within a plan leading into a trap. Unfortunately, the Diamond Sword warriors have a tendency to become too dependent on their plans and stratagems, possibly believing they would have covered every contingency before entering battle. When a wily enemy does prove them wrong, the Swords become extremely disorganized and unable to adapt to the changing situation, leaving their warriors incredibly vulnerable. Although, to their credit, catching the Diamond Sword in such straits are rare events indeed. Enigmatic as they are, the Diamond Sword will always be among the strongest in the tribes of man. If the stories are true and they indeed are a weapon of prophecy, we may yet have not seen the full might of these enlightened warriors.